Welcome back to Baisden After Dark. I'm here with Miss Rhonda Smith. Show us some love. Now, first and foremost, let me tell everyone who you are. You played with Prince for how many years?
Ooh, I'd say nine beautiful years.
And you don't think that you intimidate me with this bass guitar up here. George and I was going to have a good... Hey, George, you see that she's trying to throw me off with the bass guitar.
It's bigger than her.
Rhonda, we got to think something in common. This band behind us and you go back a long way. Tell me about that.
The hottest band, the hardest working band in LA. This is my band. This is a great band, Karma Deuce, RS2. We're getting ready to play all over the place and put some bass up in people's faces.
This is our band, family. This is it right here.
Hot, 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 hot.
Morris, you know this woman.
Yeah, I want to go back to that having something in common, because you know I come from Prince's camp too, and I know what my experience was, but I want to know what yours was. I mean, behind the scenes, nothing,
Was that an interesting experience back then, being involved in that whole Prince experience?
It totally was. I mean, it was like, it's like going to boot camp, but not only boot camp, it's like the Secret Service kind of thing. He's a consummate teacher, he's a consummate performer. I just learned a lot of lessons that I don't think I could have gotten anywhere else.
Yeah, being a bass player as a female, was that kind of revolutionary for back then? I know there are a lot of female rock groups that had bass players, but not too many quote-unquote R&B.
There's a little bit more now, but it still was probably a little bit of a novelty.
Yeah, I think of Taste of Honey when I think about remember Taste of, you all remember Taste of Honey, the
Yeah,
ladies
yeah.
going down on the bass.
Hey, is there any truth to the rumor that Prince back then he was a boot camp teacher and he taught everybody how to perform in heels?
George, there's no truth to that
There's
rumor.
no truth to that.
How did you meet the band? I mean, we were very fortunate to have them on the show. How did you all get together?
Well, you know, it started with the illustrious Larry Durrell, band leader.
LD, show us some love. And how did that start with LD?
We met about 4 or 5 years ago at a NAMM show convention. And we had some really great chemistry. And we just started talking for a while, and we had, of course, the commonality of music. So it turned into a great friendship and a great relationship.
You know, Rhonda, we have something we do on the radio show called the B-side. We talk about artists who are unconventional, who are truly talented, who actually play instruments, something you don't get a lot of these days. And your music fits into that. Larry sent me some of the music. I thought it was great. How would you, I don't like putting music in categories, but how would you define your music?
We say, first of all, it's funk rock, a little bit of fusion. It's got a little bit of everything in it, which is, today that's almost like a bad word, but it's what we love to play. It's just what we love to do. It's today, if you can't categorize something, it's a problem, and I think that that's a problem.
You got the sexiest voice I've ever heard in my. I'm sitting there trying to concentrate, George, and I can hardly.
It's hard,
I'm
isn't
sitting
it?
there going, oh my God, just let us sing right now and hell with it. But in terms of you all's relationship and knowing that era back in the day, I mean, what did you take away from that in terms of what you're bringing to your music today? Because that was some really revolutionary music that Prince was doing back then.
Ooh. The number one lesson that comes to mind, which is funny because it's business, but Prince is all about business, and he's a great teacher. It's about owning your own music, owning your own masters. That was really the number one lesson.
Yeah, it's all about the business, and I'm hoping that you all take advantage of that when you're doing all the things that you're doing. Because
and the ever-changing business.
Right, ever-changing business, because that's something that artists today don't really think about is the mass, and we talk about the business of the business, Morris, and a lot of young people are not thinking about the masters. What is the significance, since we're going to have a little education here, what is the significance of holding on to the masters?
I mean, it's your legacy. It's what you have at the end of it. The publishing, the whole thing, what you're passing on to your families. I think that a lot of labels now are surviving on back catalog. And if those artists had that, maybe they'd be doing a lot better. I mean, you wrote the music. It should be yours.
It should be yours.
Yeah,
it should be yours.
It should be yours.
What about young people, Rhonda? I mean, obviously you bring that whole experience from the, I guess, the 80s we're talking about. When you talk to young people about the business, musicians, people who actually play the instruments, what do you share with them?
Just play, number one. Do it because you love it, and it will love you back. That's what I always say. It sounds very simple.
How do we encourage people? How do we encourage the women, especially? You don't see very many women playing instruments. I know that they do, but they're not somebody that you see out front. I love my fellas, don't get me wrong, but it wouldn't have made me upset if Keith Edie was Karen Edie, you know. So, I mean, to encourage more women to play instruments and become part of bands, is there enough of that in your opinion?
No, there's not enough of that, and that's why you were great with what you're doing by letting me come on the show and
Oh,
maybe let some
please.
young girls see that there's women who are doing this.
You're treating
and happy
us,
to
trust
do
me.
it. So that's a wonderful thing.
We're going to try to encourage them because we need more women out there playing instruments and doing their thing. Morris, in terms of that era, man, what do you remember most about that era and what Rhonda and Prince and everybody was doing back then?
Well,
That was so different than what everyone else was doing.
well, I think Rhonda hit it on the head by saying we played so many different types of music. You know, the fusion. I mean, if you just really heard our bands jam, you'd be surprised of what really came out of it, because it's not just the R&B or the funk that we play. It can go a lot deeper than that.
I never imagined you could even put that music in any kind of genre. You couldn't call Prince's music anything but Prince's music. Right. And that's one thing I love about it. Would you say the same goes for your band as well?
Absolutely, absolutely.
You gonna get down for us in a minute?
I certainly am.
Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for a treat. Rhonda Smith is coming up next with the Baisden After Dark band. It's about to be on. You're watching Baisden After Dark.